one yesterday in class and we said x squared plus 7 equals 0. X squared equaled a negative number. It was no solution. If you're struggling with these, my hint would be go to the Desmos calculator. So here is the 3x squared minus 12. When I look at that 3x squared minus 12, what do I know? This point right down here is at 0, negative 12. And when you solve 3x squared minus 12 equals 0, right? When we solve that right here, you got positive and negative 2. Those are the 2 points that you are looking at. So when I look at this point, this is the 2, 0. This is the negative 2, 0. When you graph number 9, y equals x squared plus 7, I can see the vertex. If I plug in 1, I get 8. Right? If I plug in negative 1, I get still 8. So you only need a few points when you are graphing those. So as you look at this assignment, other questions that I could answer as you take a look at this. Any ones that you go, oh, I just don't get what the graph is 0 with y, and I have y equals that means my vertex is at 0, 7. When I replace this 0 with y, this means my vertex is at 0, 25, and the parabola goes up. There's no way it's going to cross the x-axis. Whereas when I'm looking at some of these other ones, oh yeah, it's probably going to cross. The other question that a lot of people came up with is you cannot graph this unless it's equal to 0. So if you have x squared plus 5 equals 5, you have to get it equal to 0. To get rid of this 5, you got to subtract 5. That means x squared equals 0. That means you're graphing y equals x squared. What is the vertex of that? Y equals x squared. The vertex is at 0. 0, 0 in particular, right? What's the solution when x squared equals 0? It's 0, right? So when I go to graph 15, someone said, here's 0, 0, the vertex. Plug in 1, you get 1. Plug in negative 1, you get 1. Plug in 2 for x, you get 4. This is that parabola. Please make sure you're putting arrows on your parabolas. They don't stop at that top point that you get. So some of you just put like an end point here. No, these are continuing on with arrows. So make sure you're doing that. Any solution is 12 and negative 12. That means I have a solution over here at negative 12, 0. And I have a solution here at 12, 0. That's when x was equal to plus and negative 12. Which means x squared had to be what? 12 squared is 4. So if I have x squared equals 144, it says find a value for c such that it will meet this equation. So my value of c is going to be x squared. It should be minus 144 equals 0. I'm squaring the 12. Okay? I would like you right now to turn to your I4. When you do questions, and on this one you're going to do 1 to 23 odd, or 1 to 23 all, excuse me. I really need you practicing if it's no solution, one solution, what those solutions are. Most of these you're going to use the x squared equals. So if x squared equals a negative, no solution. X squared equals like 0 or some other number, we have one solution. And a lot of them are going to have 2 solutions. So the most common mistake on this test and on this quiz is people forget the 2 solutions. They'll say if x squared equals 25, they'll say the answer is 5, and they forget the negative 5. So you just need to be really conscious of that. It says here that you may use technology. Use the Desmos calculator, right? Put this equation in. If you are actually going to graph this, what you really need to do is find the vertex, right? When you're finding vertex, that was the x equals negative b over 2a. What you're going to look for are for the solutions for this, because they ask you, does it have any real number solutions? Keep in mind, it will have 2 solutions. It would have 1 solution if it is like a parabola like this, or a parabola where it only hits the x-axis in one spot, and it has no solution if it never crosses the x-axis. So when you're looking at these, that's what you're trying to decide. When we take our quiz next week, there will be a question where I talk about some of these with the areas. Okay? There was some in your homework tonight, right? Find the side length of a square with an area of 196. Anyone recognize 196? Maybe it's a perfect square, right?
For 14.
Or if we're looking at this. So this is saying that we have a square, right? With sides being x. So how do you find the area? X squared equals 196. What does x equal?
4.
We're taking the square root, but it can't be negative, right? It can only be the positive square root of that. So that's kind of how you're doing those. You will see some problems like 30, 31 on your quiz. So we're going to do 1 to 24 all, and or 23 all, and then we're just going to do the evens on the rest. Okay, so for 24 to 30, only do the even on that page. That's like tonight's homework. You don't have to graph any of them now. Please turn back in your worksheet to 1-3A. So to 3A. I need to see out of the 5 graphs, you must have 3 graphs done. But you need to do all of this part. So as you look at your 1-3A, are there any questions on how you find the vertex? Some of you did pretty good in that quiz, so I'm thinking you might get it, but are there any questions on 1-3-5, finding the vertex? When you find that vertex point, right, this is in the right form for us, right? They're giving us the H and the K. So it's always H comma K. This 3A is probably a lot easier for some of you than if you're looking at 3B. I want to look at 3B with you right now, and I want to look at question 1. You need to do, for questions 4 through 13, you need to do 4 graphs. When you do the 4 graphs, in number 5, the first thing I need you to tell me, if you choose to do 5, is you need to tell me the vertex. Because when we were doing these equations, when you have a middle term, you have to find the vertex. How do you find the vertex? The x is negative b over 2a, and then this is the y value that you get. The axis of symmetry is x equals, so you should do that also. And then you should make your table of values. And when you make your table of values, the vertex is always in the middle, so that you can do it symmetric. So when I look at 5 through 13, I only need you to do 4 of those graphs. Pick 4. There should be enough space. But do that work as you do each one. Take a look at question 1. Ian, would you read number 1 for us?
A particle kick the football in the air with an upward velocity of 62 feet per second. Its height h infinite after t seconds is given by the function h equals -16 p squared plus 62 plus 2.
So this equation, the reason they use 62 here is because that's our velocity. The negative 16, that's the force of gravity. I want you to put on this graph time, and I want you to go like 3 out is going to be 1 second, 2 seconds, 3, 4 seconds. So this is our time in seconds. Okay? We're going up, and what is, we don't know our highest yet that we need to get to. But here's the key thing. It's a parabola, right? They kicked the football when it was 2 feet off the ground. How do I know that? Because it was a +2. So they are kicking it, and we need to kind of draw that parabola. Before we do that, I always think question A and B are mixed around because this is what you have to find first. How long will it take the football to reach its maximum height? How long is time? So please put down t equals negative b over 2a. So Sophia, if I'm finding that, what's my b? So I'm going to have negative 62 divided by 2 times negative 16. So I'm going to take negative 62, everybody on their calculators, divided by negative 32. It's going to be positive time, which makes sense, positive time, right? The football is in the air for how much? What'd you get? 1.9, so you want to go 1.93 or 1.94? What did you say? 1.93. So I know a little, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes. A little before 2 seconds, it said its maximum height. Time we need to find the maximum height. What am I substituting into this equation up here? I'm going to put negative 16 times what?
0.93.
Yep. 1.93 what? Squared.
Yep.
Okay, keep going.
Plus 62, 1.93.
Okay.
Plus 2.
Put that whole thing in your calculator. Do that now. What'd you get?
62.0616.
So 62 feet, could we go with? And 1.93 seconds. Okay. So that is the top of where my football hit. So at 1.97, oh, 1.97, that's here. And here's maybe my 62, right? This is my vertex. So it's like this. Kind of like that. So this is my parabola, right? Up here at just before negative, right before 2 seconds. But it started at 2. So it didn't start at 0, 0, right? So it might be a little more to answer question 3. It says, when is it going to hit the ground? Well, it probably should be pretty close to 4 seconds. Why do I know I'm pretty close to 4 seconds? Because if this would have been over here, starting the football right on the ground, right? This has to be, the vertex has to be the halfway point, right? That's my axis of symmetry going down there at 1.93 seconds. That is my axis of symmetry. So it has to be symmetric. So maybe you say, how long will it take it to hit the ground? Maybe you think, oh, it's going to be doubling 1.93, but a little more than that, right? So maybe you think, oh, it's going to be 3.9 seconds. Maybe it's going to be 4 seconds. Maybe you have 3.8 seconds. I don't know. But you can plug that in for your t to find, right? I am not as concerned that you get this exact, because later in this unit we are going to get it exact. We're going to use the quadratic formula, we're going to use factoring, we're going to get it exact, right? But at this point we haven't done that. So question 2, 3 on our quiz next week, I will ask you how much time to reach it, what's the maximum height? How much time to reach it, what's the maximum height? When you get down to question 3, they don't give you the equation. They did it in 1 and 2. You're going to use that same thing, only thing you have a different velocity and a different starting point. Every equation always has the negative 16, okay? Questions on how we're graphing or doing the rest of that?